Hey guys, do you like my new hair? I did mention in my last video that I was dyeing my hair. It ended up pink. It was meant to be like a dark red, but it's okay. It's growing on me. But what do we think? Do we like it? Do we hate it? Let me know. Please be nice though, because I can't really handle negativity right now. Today we are doing a semi-new concept on this channel. I don't think I've ever done one, and that is a recent reads video. Basically, I just have not read a lot in May or June, so I'm combining the months. Part of it's because I've been in a reading slump, part of it's because I've been so busy, like I haven't even had time to sit on the couch, let alone read. So yeah, I may start doing these more often. I may do wrap-ups if I get out of the slump, but I kind of like this idea. I'm going to talk about the books that I loved, or just like the books that I have strong opinions about, and the books that I don't have strong opinions about, I'm just not even going to bother talking about them because who cares? Like if I hate a book, I'm going to talk about it. But you know, the meh books, like the, oh yeah, I read that, but like I have no opinions. Yeah, we're not going to talk about those. I also did want to mention, I know this is a very strange angle. It's not like my usual videos. I'm just kind of sick of like that reading spot at the moment, and I just needed a change. So I might go back there in my next video, but for this video, we're over on this bookshelf, which I never really film in front of. I just needed something different, and I am also sitting on the floor because I did not feel like moving my very heavy chair over here. So we're working with what we've got, people. I'm just going to very briefly talk about my current read. This will be in my next recent read, so I'm not really going to do a review, but I wanted to mention it anyway. And that is The Institute by Stephen King. Look at me, guys. I'm smart girl. Smart girl reading Stephen King over here. No, I went to the library to pick up Misery because I read half of that book like a long time ago. And I DNF'd it because it's Stephen King and the sexual references were too much. But I feel like I can handle it now. And I actually enjoyed the plot, so I went looking and I couldn't find it, but I found this. And I did get the large print version, so it was like 800 pages. It's taking me forever. Could be why I'm in a reading slump. However, I'm really enjoying this. It is about a little boy, Luke, who gets taken from his parents after they are murdered by these random people, and he's taken to this place called the Institute. And there's a bunch of little children who have telekinesis or telepathy powers, and they're basically experimented on, and we don't really know why. We don't really know who these people are, how it's even running, you know, like how it's, people haven't found out about it because they're basically torturing these kids. And that's basically the plot, and it's actually really intriguing. Like for Stephen King, I've made it 312 pages in, so that means it's pretty darn good. Like I'm actually enjoying this. It is a library book. I don't know if I said that, so I'm gonna actually have to reborrow it out because I'm nowhere near finished clearly, and it's due in like a few days. But this is my current read, and I'm hoping it's the rest of the book holds up, because as of right now I'm enjoying it, but there is still over half, so it could go terribly wrong. Who knows? Now let's talk about some books that I have read. The first book that I'm going to talk about, let me move over. Here we go. First book, Serpent in the Wings of Night. I'm going to try and keep this one brief because I feel like I've talked about this one a lot already. Serpent in the Wings of Night follows a human girl. Her name is Aurea, and she is taken into this vampire world, and it's basically her surviving in a world that was designed to kill her. The book is just so much more than that, but that is really all I can tell you. It is often described as like Vampire Diaries, or like Twilight meets Hunger Games, and the reason for that is because there's this thing called the Kajari, where basically it's a fight to the death situation and the winner gets like a blessing. So it's Hunger Games but with vampires and one human girl, and it's just really interesting, and I loved the whole book. I ended up giving it 5 stars. I'm very excited to continue. I plan on reading like the novella that comes after the first book within the next few weeks. And the fact that I can even remember the main character's name, and I read this book like 3 weeks ago, must have been pretty good. I'm just very excited that I was able to get another 5-star read, because as I mentioned in my last video, which was my favorite books, or like best books of 2023, I have had like 2 5-stars this year, or like, yeah, 2, and I hadn't finished Serpent in the Wings of Night when I filmed that, so it's not included in that. So I guess you could say 3, which for me is shocking because I feel like I'm a very generous person when it comes to like 5 stars. Like I'm just like, here you go, here you go, here you go. Like I give them out like crazy, and I'm struggling this year. It was just a nice feeling to be able to read a book and give it 5 stars. And Carissa's writing, she is the next big thing. I can tell you right now, she's already blown up. I think she's going to blow up even more. She is just fantastic. Her writing is just so easy to read, and her stories are unlike anything that I've read. I mean, her stories aren't anything necessarily new, but they're just done so well, and I just love her. I truly do love her. Highly recommend if you're a fantasy reader, fantasy romance, pick it up. It is a must. The next book, I was contemplating whether I was going to include this or not, but I'm going to include it because it was honestly like so, I don't want to say fun because it was messed up, but that is 100% Match. I think it's what it's called. Ideally, I want to give this 5 stars, but at the same time, I'm like, it was very short and I don't really know, I don't know, like 4.5 maybe, but it was still fantastic. It is a horror book and it is very messed up. So basically about this cannibal serial killer type of guy who works at a burger shop as like a fry cook. I feel like you can put the pieces together there. It is very gruesome and it's almost like a character study. Like the book is literally almost like a character study. You're following this psycho, right? You're following this psycho, but you're so much in his head and you're really like witnessing what he's thinking, and you're just like, it's a lot, but in a good way, but also not. I would definitely read more by this author. This book was recommended by, who was it? I honestly have no idea. Someone recommended this and I was like, oh, okay. It's like a short little book. It's on Kindle Unlimited. I'll pick it up. I read it in like 20 minutes and I was just staring at a wall afterwards. I would recommend, but just look up trigger warnings and be very aware. It's very heavy on the horror. Well, no, it's not heavy on the horror because I can read it and I'm very I'm very funny about certain things, but it was good and I wanted to mention it because it was a different type of good than I think I've experienced, if that makes sense. The next 2 books, I'm gonna put them together. I think we read The Spider Goddess and then The Skeleton Key. That is it. The Spider Goddess and The Skeleton Key, second and third book in the Pandora English world. I've listened to every book in this series on audiobook and I highly recommend if you want to pick up this series to do that because they are phenomenal. The first book is definitely still my favorite. The second one I think I gave 4 stars. The first one I think I gave 4.5. Second one 4 stars, and then The Skeleton Key, which is the third book, I think I gave 3.5. I'm hoping the 4th and final book is actually is going to be good and it's not going to be like a series that slowly declines, which is the way it's going. So I'm a little bit nervous, but I've only got 1 book left, so I'm intrigued to pick it up regardless. If you've never heard of the series, which you probably haven't, it's about a girl named Pandora English who moves from her small town. She moves to New York to live with her great aunt who's meant to be in her 90s, and when she gets there her aunt looks incredibly young and she's like, hang on a second, something's not adding up here. And that's the first mystery, and it just expands so much, and I can't really tell you anything else because it'll spoil. And obviously I can't really tell you about the second or the third book because it'll spoil the first book kind of, but it has got vampires in it, so if you like vampires, it's for you. It's very loosely Wednesday inspired, so I'd recommend if you like Wednesday, just don't go into it expecting Wednesday because it's not. It's just got a few elements from Wednesday. So just, yeah, don't go into it thinking it's Wednesday. It isn't the most perfect writing ever, but it is very enjoyable. And again, the audiobooks are just next level entertainment and they're phenomenal. The last book I'm going to talk about, I was actually contemplating whether I wanted to include it because I'm very unsure on what I want to do in relation to continuing the series. and that is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas. So I read Throne of Glass a while back and I couldn't get into it, so I decided to pick up The Assassin's Blade and try the series again with reading The Assassin's Blade first. I loved Assassin's Blade. I gave it 5 stars, and I did say in my recent video when this was one of the 5 stars that it could change like to like 4.5 if I were to continue on with the series. The issue arises where I don't know if I want to continue the series. Whilst I loved that book, the series is so long and I'm so nervous that I won't enjoy it. I wanted to finish the series by the end of 2023. Scrapping that, it's not going to happen. I'm still going to try and read some of the series slowly. I think I'm more of like an Akita, and I feel like I'd really like Crescent City, but I'm unsure. Like, I'm nervous. I'm really nervous, and everyone's like telling me I should read it, but I don't know. So I wanted to mention it because it was a very high rated book and I do really love it. I'm just a bit stumped on what to do in terms of continuing on. But I love Selena's character, and everyone hates this book. I loved it. I loved it. I thought it was super entertaining, and I was intrigued to nearly every single one of the short stories because it's a collection of like short stories, or a collection of novellas basically. I loved them. I didn't think there was a boring one there. I loved all of them, and so yeah, I don't know. I think I will continue, but just slowly. Alright guys, that's the end of this video. I know I didn't really have any like low rated books, which I guess is good. I did have a few meh books, but I'm not going to waste my breath because I have nothing important to say about those books. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you liked this type of video. I know it's a bit different from what I usually do. I usually just do wrap-ups and talk about all my books, but I don't know, I just kind of thought this would be a nice change, changing the background, changing my hair. There's a lot of changes going on right now. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!